Why is there human feces, needles, and transients having sex blocking the sidewalk?
She's a mom, actress, and activist, and the chair of the LA GOP, Roxanne Hoge. Roxanne Hoge, welcome to State of Gold.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I love your energy.
Well, I
And the
wish I
chat
had
that
more
we
of
just
it.
had. I don't think you need more energy.
You don't think I should take up coffee? No?
You don't drink coffee?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. I've taken up coffee because I have an 8-month-old.
Yes,
Wow.
I remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah, so I need extra energy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about LA County for a minute. Massive county, one of the biggest in the country,
The
if not
biggest.
the biggest. That's right, of course.
By population.
By
Yes.
population, 10 million people, huge county. What would you say are the top two societal issues right now in LA County where bad policy is affecting citizens on the ground?
Crime and grime.
Crime and crime.
Grime.
Talk
It's
about that.
filthy. I'm from a third
Crime
world
and
country.
grime. Okay.
Yeah.
Crime with a C, grime with a G.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
I like it. All right.
Yeah, crime and crime would also make sense because they go
I thought
together.
you were making a point.
No.
Well, talk about crime first, and then, of course, we've got tons of issues with safety and cleanliness on the street. But what about crime first?
It's all about public safety, and that's the number one job of government, as Fiorella LaGuardia said. There's no Republican or Democrat way to clean the streets, and that cleanliness is both physical, but also in the sort of corruption and law and order situation. My family fled a third world country to come to America, the shining city on the hill, not for economic opportunity, but for safety. Literally, there are many other countries in the world where it is unsafe to speak your mind or to have a business or any one of a million things. And we don't have that anymore in parts of LA that are run by Democrats, sadly.
From a crime perspective, what's the number one thing you'd want to see done to address the crime issue in LA County?
The amazing thing about LA County is that even though we have 1 million registered Republican voters there, we're only, around 20% of the voting population. And yet Prop 36 to make crime illegal again and the vote to replace George Gascon, the Soros district attorney,
Right.
with Nathan Hochman, both won 70-30.
Yes.
So people who live in Los Angeles understands that when their physical well-being and private property is at stake, they understand how to vote. Now we just need to get them to take that next step and understand that their private property rights are also being taken away and subverted by the city council and the board of supervisors in every single ruling they make.
Right. And of course, Prop 36, not funded sufficiently by the California state legislature. I believe the number they funded is $100 million. Woefully inadequate to actually put teeth into it and actually make it happen on the ground.
Because they're pro-criminal. It's not even a question.
Well, it's also, I think it's the game that leaders in Sacramento have been playing with thousands of bills, thousands and thousands of bills, most of which mean nothing, a small number that means something, and then wins look like passing bills, but nothing actually happens on the ground, right? So it's a big rigged game.
Big Rube Goldberg machine.
It's a rube. On the grime with the G front, Skid Row in Los Angeles is probably iconic for, the mess in a huge part of Los Angeles. What would you want to do to see LA cleaned up, and what would it actually look like? What would the metric be or the result be if we cleaned up LA?
When I came to America, I remember one of the first trips we took, my stepfather taking us to Disney World in Florida. He was American. And I remember looking out the car window and saying, where's all the trash? Because we had a bit of a trash problem in my island. And he said, in America, we don't throw trash on the side of the road. You get fined and it's not okay.
Right.
That has been completely turned upside down in Los Angeles. There is not a street in the city of LA or any municipality run by Democrats that is clean. They still ticket you for parking on street cleaning days, but no street cleaning happens, literally. And you talk about Skid Row as being iconic, but I live in a suburban valley neighborhood. Remember Moon Zappa's Valley Girl? That was a bucolic, idyllic place to grow up in the 80s and 90s. According to everyone who was there, that's why I took my family there. It is filthy. And by the way, the filth is in some very nice neighborhoods that it's almost impossible to afford to buy your way into. So why is there human feces, needles, and transients having sex blocking the sidewalk? And again, this just highlights the hypocrisy of the left. These people are broken souls deserving of saving their lives. The people who the ADA was passed for, handicapped people, blind people, people who would like to walk, they all talk about wanting public transit. You can't use public transit or even walk on sidewalks because it has been completely taken over by this filth. I can't have my kids walk to this really nice, fun, development. It's maybe 3 blocks from my house. I don't want them to step on a needle or get run over by a car, because those are things that happen, again, in very nice neighborhoods to
Right.
everyone.
Right, right. It's a crying shame. I mean, I think that the problem is most politicians are not executives. They may be good at talking or pandering, but they get into office, they don't know how to execute, and don't have a bias for action. So we need more executives in elected office.
Well, you say what did it look like? My friend, we just came back from a vacation to Tokyo. Now, I understand the Japanese obsession with cleanliness is a bridge too far for some people.
Yes.
But when you're on, and I have video on my Twitter account, when you're on a subway at rush hour and the floor of the subway train is gleaming, and then you look, I wouldn't go on an LA Metro train, but after a stabbing,
Right.
they'll show footage. There should be some pride in where we live.
Yeah.
Broken windows theory was not just for policing.
real.
Yeah.
It's real. There's no pride. It's true. There's no pride. It's almost like a socialist virus has infected our major American cities, and people are not taking pride. All right, let's switch to a last subject before we do a rapid fire. You had a political awakening. You've credited Dennis Prager for part of it, but tell me, was there a moment, Roxanne, where you snapped or shifted from being a traditional Hollywood liberal to being more of a conservative? What caused your awakening?
So it was a sort of a 3-parter. Yes, I volunteered for Bill Clinton's presidential campaign when I came to LA. I'm, Barbara Boxer and Feinstein, and I was a good fan of James Carville. Couldn't understand how he could stand Mary Madeline. Now it goes the other way. Several things happened. That 2000 election, where Al Gore couldn't decide who he was, and George Bush was very clear about the power of conservatism to make your life better.
Yeah.
Gave me the RCA dog moment. Then,
do you remember the moment in the debate where W was standing at his lectern and Al Gore kind of walked over and hovered next to him, and Bush looked at him and kind of chuckled his chuckle, and it was kind of like one guy knew who he was and what he wanted to do, and this other guy was kind of creepy, and it was just an interesting moment I'll always remember from that
and
debate.
by the way, he was being advised, Gore, by Naomi Wolf, who's also had her own awakening, which is really, really interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yes, yes.
Let's go back to yours. So 2000 debate started, or 2000 election started.
And I think it mirrors what we need to do as conservatives, talking to people in the center and the left. Is the first step is not to beat them over the head, but to get them to go, interesting. Then September 11th happened. And amidst all the chaos and the terror and the fear and the confusion, my husband and I looked at each other and went, thank God George Bush is president instead of Al Gore. And then shortly thereafter, I had the biggest awakening of all. I sent my firstborn to public school, and the scales fell away from my eyes. There was no pride. There was no expectation of excellence. In Jamaica, education is everything to us. We stand when a teacher comes into the room. You make an effort. You crack open a book. All this nonsense and bumper stickers about how I wish the army had a bake sale and teachers had all the money. They had all the money. They just didn't demand anything or expect anything. And that, by the way, folds into the crime and grime. The expectations that Democrats have for what they call Black and brown people is so low as to make a Klansman blush. That's what the crux of the problem is. In their attempt to say, we're good people and we're not racist, so we won't prosecute crime because you Black people commit a lot of it. So we're just gonna, that's how we're gonna help you. It's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like you had an awakening coming on 25 years ago, and here you are, chair of the Republican Party in the biggest county in the United States. That's pretty cool. Roxanne, let's close with rapid fire, which we do with every guest. This is kind of like one word, one phrase, whatever comes to mind, no pressure. The first is, you're queen for a day. the single biggest thing you do to fix California?
First of all, I'm just so happy to be queen for a day. Hold on, I have to let me just bask in that for a second. Um, I would outlaw public sector unions.
And collective bargaining for public sector unions. Okay. Number two, what gives you hope about California?
It's amazing. Its people are amazing. We're so chill and we're always wanting to do the right
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah, good answer. What would surprise someone that they wouldn't know about politics in LA County?
They would not know just how corrupt and venal and craven the people in power are. It's stunning.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, got it. Finally, fill in the blank. California is.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Roxanne. You're just
Thank you.
a delight and an amazing story. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
California is worth fighting for.
Yes. Yes, 100%.